currently waiting for an Uber. I can hear the bike, so I'm just across the road from the MOT. He's just fired up the DNA 125. It doesn't sound too loud at all, which is great news. Here's my fan. I've got my SIP fan here, but I now need to Uber home to ride the maxi scoot up, then put these bikes back in the fan, drive them back, Uber back up to ride the maxi scoot back home. So it's a really busy morning, but the fingers crossed 3 MOT passes is what we're looking for. If not, I'd like the DNA to pass, so that's done and dusted, and then I can tweak the other 2 in my own time. Okay guys, for me, hours, for you, seconds. MOTs, pass, no advisories. That's great news. That's going to go up as advertised, I think. Passed, no advisories, good news. But I drove this one there and back, so I got to test it, and it has some pros and some cons. I'm going to come back to them in a moment. Now, fail. To be fair, it's not a fail because he didn't put it through. Whatever happens between here and the journey, front light stopped working, so I can bet the clip came off. Simple as that. The exhaust is done and dusted. I don't think I showed you it fully finished and clamped yesterday. That is a fully working, functioning exhaust. It sounds pretty amazing actually. So I need to sort out the front light on that, keep it here for another week. This bike's just brilliant. It just starts every time, no issues at all, runs and rides. It's really kind of nippy, just does its thing. Right, pros and cons to this. It's very fast. It's very fast. I don't know if that's a pro or a con. The idle's a bit high. I need to lower the idle because it's a bit pulley at the lights. So I need to lower the idle at the moment. And then there's kind of some silly imperfections that just annoy me, because we could polish this right up and do the works to it and make it a 2K plus bike, but I'd rather it just kind of sell on quickly. This little panel's missing. Now, I don't know what this little panel looks like. I have no idea. The ones I've seen online are kind of all one thing, so I don't know what that looks like. So we're gonna have to put some tape over there or something, keep that one simple. That's a bit of an annoyance for me. What else? The screen has these, I don't know if you can see them, but there's like, I don't know what you'd call it. Now I know I've cleaned it, so it's not an issue. It's like, but there's kind of stuff on it. So I found myself trying to look over the screen, which is a bit of an annoyance when actually riding. The twisting throttle winds me right up. I need to put a dab of glue on that so it stops twisting. It runs, rides, brakes. It does everything you ask it to do, which is stunning. Seat lock works. We haven't got that panel, which is a bit frustrating. That's a bit of a shame. That would have been a good panel to have had, just so it's a bit neater. So basically, a bike that should be 2K plus just isn't quite close enough. We got kind of minor imperfections in the paint and stuff here. So I think I'm going to be going 1850 as it sits, and the new buyer's getting an absolute bargain. I've told you guys already, it's got pretty much close to a full service history. I've just done the carb work. There might be, it's a bit of a splutter. I don't know if I can show you because I think the revs are up quite high. You hear that kind of splutter? Now I don't know what it is, unless one of the retaining clips, remember I put them on the other day. In fact, it was doing that before, then I put them on, and then then it stopped it. I wonder if one of them has rattled off. I'd be curious to see. I don't know if I'd want to break this bike down again to address it. The bike's running beautifully, so it's not affecting it, but obviously potential buyer. Bit of a stutter's a bit weird, and you don't feel it on the throttle or anything. It's really weird. It just has that kind of back, almost like a back flow or back burst that doesn't affect it at all. It's really weird. So some kind of small tweaks. Daniel said to me this bar looks a bit rough. He's right, it looks a bit rough. may throw a coat on that today. But I think at the moment I'm in a nice position where I don't have to kind of rush anything. It's got its MOT, that's the main part. I think I'm going to pull out the er5, get the top cam cover off. Let's see if we've slipped on the chain or something. My hope is that we've slipped 1-2 from the tensioner on the chain, and then I think that would mean that the tensioner is a bit touchy, because I think it did that before as well. If that's the case, very simple fix, we get a new tensioner or even a manual one, which would be even better. However, that is high hopes, but I do want it to be off by 1 tooth. I do want it to have slipped so that we have a fix. Okay guys, welcome back. Bit of a weird day. I did do the MOTs, that was this morning, but welcome back to my channel. I love my channel, guys. I really love my channel. I love how much effort you guys put into my channel, and other people around us actually. Nat's channel, Motorcycle Man, I think he's having a bit of a break, but hopefully he's back soon. Obviously DT Essex, George, Dan does bits, basically all of you guys, and I love what our little community that we've created. So basically I'm offering this bike to one of you guys to fix. Not really. Last week I was very flustered and I was working with the clowns, so I'm not sure what I was doing with this bike. But one thing that has just hit me now, after uncovering it, is when I was trying to start it last week, had I blocked off the second suction line? I hadn't. I definitely hadn't. Definitely hadn't. So it wouldn't have run well, which, as you saw and heard, it wasn't. I think my point is that the issue could have been quite a simple one. It could be a dud battery. Dud battery was stopping it start properly because the spark wasn't strong enough. That's what I'm getting at. That's what it could be. Jake did clean out them carbs, and he said there was a bit of crud in somewhere, but he said himself, no, not enough to for it to affect the bike. He wouldn't have thought. Any earths like this down here, this is the time. Let's get them, let's find them, let's clean them, let's see what's going on, let's find out what's going on with this bike, because it's not far off. And I'm going to put some fuel in, I'm going to hook the battery to that, we're going to fire it up again and see if it's any better. We've kind of got two options here, guys. It could fire up and be okay, because it's the battery basically. So it would need a new battery or get this fully charged. I don't know. I know me and Nat have charged this enough, so maybe it's kind of at its end. But that's high hopes, guys. I'm still running the secondary coils, but there doesn't appear to be any difference between the originals and the secondary. Although if this bike ever goes back to normal, I may put them on and keep them ones in case there is an intermittent issue going on. With the secondaries, it's all different. So it's the coil, the lead, and the plug. So at least you're covering all of that. So I'm going to put the airbox on loosely. I'm going to try and seal it actually. Put some fuel in. I need to hook up the battery to that. I'm just going to try it again, just to see if, by any luck, it is okay with a bit of a carb clean and a fresh battery, and basically second hand coils. But again, I can switch to them and it doesn't really make much difference. My other slight concern, but I don't know how much of a concern it is yet, is the clutch switch. It seems to start better when the clutch is pressed in, and it should only do that if it was in gear. So, but that could be me just being silly. Probably is. So let's hook this up. Let's get some fuel in. Let's get the airbox kind of on. Let's hook this up and let's see. It may actually just start up and be a normal running, riding, revving bike. But at this stage, pretty high hopes. We need this bike to be running beautifully because Nat's paintwork that he's done is stunning. Absolutely stunning. So the bike needs to match up to the paintwork. So sadly my stand is broke at the moment, so I can't put you aside while I fire this up. Let me get the air filter. I've just noticed that. I'll chuck that in. And then, yeah, high hopes that the carb clean and the stronger battery kind of is enough, and the fact that I may have forgot to plug that last week, but I don't know. I doubt it's that easy. One moment, let me get the filter. Okay, so let me see if I can balance you for a moment on the chair, and then I can go up there. And it's going to be hard to get the right angle, isn't it? So annoying when your tripod breaks, guys. Nah, impossible. Alright. What we're going to do is switch the fuel on. Everything's kind of set up now. Switch the fuel on and turn it over a couple of times. Fuel is on. Ignition is on. Choke is on. Let's see. Side stands up. See what happens. Now I have a slight suspicion that if I was to pull the clutch in and press it right, left hand clutch, right hand filming, and isn't that interesting? That sounds fairly normal to me. What have we changed? I just cleaned the stator wiring, which is here and here. But ultimately we cleaned the carbs. Actually the choke's still on, we can't test it yet. What I'm gonna do is let me chuck some more fuel in and I'll top the fuel up. So it seems much happier to me, guys, overall. Obviously blocking that off is needed to test it. I did clean the stator wiring over there. I'm out of contact cleaner now, otherwise I'd be doing the works. Where do we go from here? I'm going to connect up the original coils again, just because these are hanging loose. Plug them back in, see how that sounds. But that sounded normal to me. Let me show you again, because it's warm. Let me chuck the fuel back on, because as in the engine's warm. Maybe a little, oh no, it's fine. Right, you've heard that. Let me turn the fuel off. I'm going to switch back to the other coils. And we'll in now, literally, and we'll try it again and we'll see if it sounds the same. So, original coils on now, both sides. So we're back to the original coils, just out of curiosity. Fuel back on, fire it up, it's still warm. Let's see how it lies for a few minutes. I think that's quite important. To be clear, technically, I think it was a dud battery that caused the problem to start with, unless that little bit of crud in the carbs kind of added to it. But the dud battery kind of makes sense in regards to the lack of spark, because even though the spark comes directly from the stator, it all needs to be working in harmony, really. It's a tough one, that. Really, I want to get some contact cleaner though, and I want to do all the wiring again, just to make sure, and the earths. But at the moment, it's kind of back to a normal bike for me. In fact, yeah, sounds very good. Alright, I'm going to idle that for a few minutes, let it run through that fuel basically, and obviously you can't test run a bike like this, guys. I'm going to ask him that. If he wants it back tonight, I'll give him the money for a new battery, that's not an issue. I'm going to bring the other coils, just in case, because I don't know if there's an intermittent fault going on there that's causing something. I don't think there is. I do think there's something about that clutch switch. I think the clutch should always be in when you're starting this bike, just because that switch is like that. My what I would normally do is chop it and wire it to save all the issues, but actually having the clutch in like you should isn't a huge issue, and it would never affect the bike once it's actually started, not like the side stand switch would, although this one I don't think is connected, so that's fine. Interesting, very interesting. Low battery causing not enough spark, or dirty wiring causing not enough spark that's been cleaned, or a little bit of crud in the carbs that Jake cleaned, or just kind of a little mixture of all three. Now I'd like to test ride it, but it's too risky. See, because this is hanging off the handlebar, I can't. Alright. Now, let me know, mate. I'm in too much. I feel like I don't want to give this back to you with some sort of intermittent fault, but if I bring you the spare coils just in case, but I don't think it is. I think it's a dud battery. I'll give you the money for a new one, and then I think when it's all back together like normal with the new battery, it's just normal. So let me know. I mean, I can bring it back to you tomorrow evening if you want, because your panels are all ready. And Tanya batteries take 2 days to turn up, so obviously I can arrange that. But I think that's it. Do you know? And I can leave it to you, Nat. I can leave it to you if you want to get rid of the switch or not. You know how to do it. It's 3 wires. Cut them. Try 2, see if it starts. Try the other 2, see if it starts. That's straightforward. But this is definitely a good running, fine bike as it sits. And all I did, just to be clear with everyone, I need to put that bolt in there. All I did was I cleaned the stator wiring just not long ago. That's that one there, the red one there, and there's a black one behind here. Jake cleaned the carbs, and yeah, and we were well aware that the battery's a little bit dud. I am going to do this earth, because that's the only one I can see. It looks fine, but it's always worth doing the earth. I need to, if I had some contact cleaner, do you know what? I'm going to go and get some contact cleaner. I'm going to do all of the wiring on this bike so that it's ready. Sounds great, guys. Sounds great. It saved me so much time and hassle. Here's the throttle. You ready? Spot on. I'm going to run the fuel out. Oh! What popped? What popped? Oh, the coolant line. Oh, the clip's not on it. I wouldn't have not put a clip on that. I've got loads in there. We'll blame that. Nah, you took the clip off. It was probably me though. Let me throw a clip on that. I better top it up as well. Lucky I've got some. Appropriate coolant clip on. I'm going to top up the coolant. Lovely. I'm going to give it a minute to cool down before topping the coolant up, because it's hot and it's everywhere. That's it. Let me well, take all this off, I guess, and push it to the side. And what battery are we actually? We are a YT9LBS. It really is BS when a battery stops working. Right, I don't know if I showed you guys, I did put a clip on there. Great, I'm so pleased now. MOT, although I may do some carb work on you. Let me try and get that working, and you're advertised on Facebook for £500, which is a steal for a bike that starts, runs and rides, brakes, and has a year's MOT from today. great news. We're good. We're good. I'm going to chuck the coils in just in case. So I've just gone to check on the DNA. There's got to be a loose wire in there. There's got to be a loose wire. This is how it sounds, guys. It's warm now. It is a bit loud. It's a little bit loud. I think it sounds good.
That's not gonna pop.
He said it would. He checked it today.
That's louder than my piaggio.
Where's your bike, by the way?